So now, then there was this post that you made that
Yeah.
had me all like I was like, wow, what's happening over here? Um, I guess you made a whole bunch of changes and clearly you've been thinking about a lot of things that are like I guess like you're making changes career wise and it seems like a personal philosophy wise that
Yeah.
you're making some changes as well. Like how did this happen? Did you like you had
Um,
some experiences or you
um, I I think I would never have gone to the point if I wouldn't have like traveled and did all the things like during the last 3 or 4 years. So
okay.
everything I did like before was fine, and I pretty much enjoyed it because
Hmm.
like the traveling around the world and presenting your music is like for me the best thing you can reach uh, or I can reach in my life. So I was pretty happy with that. But the older you get, the more experience you make, the more you try to focus on something, like focus on a feeling, on a certain feeling.
Right.
And there was the point where I just thought, okay, I, like I'm doing my stuff, but I don't feel right, like at the point where I am right now.
Right, right.
And
Interesting.
it's I think it's the kind of development you're doing as a person. Like also your friends change, like your circle of friends are changing, your experiences are changing. I went to techno raves, I went to house clubs, I went to disco parties, I went to pop parties,
Okay.
like every kind of music. And the older you get, the more you focus on those parties or those events, locations, like you're really into.
Yeah.
And so I was really happy about having this focus because I think I missed to have this focus the years before. So I just did music. I played these clubs. I played like warm up after our peak time sets, every kind of music.
Hmm.
And at one point you see like, okay, this is the feeling I want to reach because I really like this feeling. And you also see like this is a feeling or this is a crowd or like an atmosphere I'm not really into.
Okay,
And
okay.
if if you stay in an atmosphere you're not really into, I think yeah, it's not fulfilling your fantasies about music in a long term, in a long lasting term.
Yeah, yeah.
And um, it was also a point of yeah, like setting yourself back on a neutral level and setting yourself on fire again.
Okay.
Because the more you're doing a thing regularly, it doesn't matter if it's sports or job or something else. Um, the more you stuck into a circle of delays and loops,
Hmm.
you start moving into a loop, and it's hard to get out of this loop and see yourself back again.
Okay,
And
interesting.
that's the point I needed to do.
Okay.
And that was like clearly the decision. So I'm not angry at anyone, or um, I think it was just like another point in my life
Yeah,
I decided to do.
yeah.
And there's a new chapter which is beginning, and I'm pretty happy to, yeah, to see what's coming in the future.
Right on, right on. That's
Yeah.
cool. I when we had talked about this earlier, I it totally reminded me of I don't know if these two moments happened around the same time, but there was one point I remember. I specifically remember being out playing a gig in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and the place was packed, and I was part of this crew there called Tiger Hook, and we were doing really really well at that exact moment, and we had like parties going on all over the city, and you
Yeah.
know things were going
Yeah.
well, and I just but I remember I was playing and I just like all of a sudden I just looked down at the record and I was like, what is this? Like, what
Yeah,
is this record that I'm playing? Like, I
yeah,
don't understand what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like the beginning. It was like kind of the beginning of a new direction for me because I knew I wasn't really playing exactly what I was feeling or what was like true to me. I was
yeah,
more just going along with the way things were going, and it's like I
yeah,
know this record is going to work, and I'm sure this is what
yeah,
I thought when I bought it, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But it's
right.
not. It wasn't what I really. It's not a record that I would normally play, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
or would have even thought about buying, you know.
You know, it's funny because I can remember that we kind of talked about this
Hmm.
also when you played in Dortmund,
Hmm.
I think 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and uh, I could feel you, but I was not in the situation that I could feel the same like you know?
Mm.
Like I was totally in a different world at this point. Like 2 years ago, I was thinking, yeah, okay, I'm playing music, everything is fine.
Hmm.
So, and I already saw like you were, yeah, seeing things different, like crowd-wise and with clubs around your area, and that you want to move to another country and want to move to Berlin, you know. And now I can like, if I think back now about our conversation, I can really feel you much better now
Oh,
than
wow, wow.
years ago, you know.
Yeah,
So
I I'm old, man. So like I I
yeah,
think it's like I think it's you know, I may not have you know, maybe at that time I was at your age when I was like thinking this to myself and just but it still it all resonates with me because even before I was making records but I wasn't really DJing and I was like working in the clubs but behind the bar and I do but I was still going out a lot and I used to have like conversations with my friends about knowing when to leave and
yeah,
being a little bit more choosy about like you don't have to be at every party, you don't have to go everywhere, and um,
mm,
it's kind of better to like focus on the stuff that's really going to enrich you in some sort of way, like going and hearing the music that you want to hear and not going to a place just because it's the cool new spot or like you know what I mean
yeah, yeah,
and and then just choosing your circle wisely as well, like kind of limiting your interactions with people or whatever. I actually ended up starting to I actually started like going to the museum and stuff and
yeah,
trying to balance my whole life out because it was so much of just this you know and
yeah.
so I can totally understand what you're saying with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I had the same feeling